things started for the F-18. Head on out to the boat and do some case well recovery options. So without any further ado, let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is check the fire detection loops.
Engine fire left. Engine fire right. Engine fire right. APU fire. APU fire. Bleed air left. Bleed air left. Bleed air right. Bleed air right.
And wait 10 seconds on the reset. Personally speaking, I don't like having the joystick there. It gets in the way of what I need to do as far as countermeasures, bit tests, etc. So, and now the 10 seconds are up.
Engine fire left. Engine fire
Second
left.
fire detection loop test.
Engine fire right. Engine fire right. APU fire.
Can you hear
APU
Betty going off
fire.
and see the
Bleed air left.
the
Bleed
6
air
lights?
left. Bleed air right. Bleed air right.
And that completes the fire detection test. We'll go ahead and fire up the APU now. And that'll provide power and pneumatics to the aircraft, as well as enough to start the ATS, the air turbine starter on the 2 engines. I like to do a few things while the APU is warming up. Just gets a couple of personal presets set on the airplane. So you notice I've turned my console lights on, position lights, etc. Again, you don't have to, but that's personal preference. Go ahead and shut the canopy now. And let's go ahead and start the left engine. So you see on the IFE there, she's starting to spin up. I'm going to wait till 19%. And as you can see, the temp increasing. There is fuel indeed getting added to that engine. Hear a loud moan here in a second.
Roll left. Roll left.
And there's Betty resetting as
Flight
power gets
controls.
into the circuits.
Flight controls.
Alright, so number 2, we'll go ahead and start that. That little be-doo be-doo you're hearing is some of the caution warnings. And there goes number 2. Okay, now that number 2 has started, there's a sequence that I like to do. It may not be NATOP's preferred, but it closely mirrors real-world operations as far as the airline's concerned for flows. Left to right, top to bottom, so O-box because we need to breathe. Shut the APU down because we have power. Double check the hook bypass, anti-skid on, flaps to half, master arm safe, daytime for the left and right DDIs, MFD, and then that sets that all up. We'll go ahead and set the radios up. Button 1 is going to be 251. Actually, correction, I think with the server it's button 5. We'll just set it for button 2 for now. And as you can see, I'm using something called Simple Radio over here on the left hand side of the screen. button 4, correction, button 5, we use for in-flight communications. Now that that's set up, I'm going to pull up the FCS page. And I'm going to go ahead and coming over, left to right, top to bottom right, uncage my standby, double check the altimeter setting, turn my radar altimeter on as I'm going to need that going to the carrier. It's come into play later on. We'll set that for 450 feet. Reset the bleeds. You should hear these things come on. There comes the ECS air. Radar to on. INS to ground. Okay. So while that's happening, I'm going to do an FCS reset. So flaps to half. FCS reset button over here. Hit Y. Hit FCS. And you can start to see the control surfaces move over here on the left DDI. If I look out, you should see them moving on the wings just a little bit. There it goes. You can see the control surfaces moving now. This is the bit test for the flight control surfaces. Okay, now that I've got a good bit, I'm actually going to pull the HSI up on my page. Keep FCS here. And then since we're not doing any sort of combat or craziness today, checklist goes in the center. Fuel, I'm going to set bingo for 2,200 pounds.
Bingo. Bingo.
And that's coming for both tanks before we have to go trick-or-treating. And if you're lucky, you may get to see me do an air-to-air refuel. Okay, 2,200 set. Gonna turn on my RWR, as well as my standby switch. Let that go through the stuff. Okay, now that that is all set up, comms are all set up. And Doffra Field, Bullet 105, South flow-throughs, anyone on? Comms check, trying to listen, see if anybody shows up. Probably won't, but that's fine. Alright, a couple things to remember. INS is aligning right now. If you take a look, quality's going down, time goes up. That's a good thing. I'll go ahead and set my take hand up for the Stennis, which is the ship of choice here. I don't know the base recovery course yet, but we will get that as we get closer to the ship. Take hands on, transmit, receive, and that's going to be 40 X-ray. You're going to see this swinging around until we get over to the ship, and you're not really going to see it pop up until we get airborne. It is a line of sight only. Alright, everything's good. Arm the seat. Pitot heat's on. Test those. There's been a bug in recent developments lately from Eagle Dynamics regarding the pitot inlet heat. It's starting when they shouldn't be, so. Doffra Tower, Bullet 105, South flow-throughs, taxi runway 31. Okay, nothing heard. Bullet 105, taxiing. Or whoever you are, tell me to tell my turn my console lights down low. It's a personal preference. So if you want to show me rule and regulation, I'm all for it. But honestly, fuck off. I guess we'll leave center line to the professionals. Oh, screw you, Scott. Okay, I'm coming over to what they call EOR, or hot pads. Stands for end of runway. And when I do this, I'm actually going to face away from the airfield. The reason they do this is when they load the armament up, you want to make sure any munitions, if they have a misfire, are going to fire off into the dirt out there and don't end up hurting or killing anybody. It's a good idea. Mintop says taxi speed is a brisk walk. As you can see, that's about what we're doing. Military, I have no clue. I was not a military pilot, so I can't tell you. Now we'll turn into the hot pads. Overshot the line there, so I was using my phone. Out here at the EOR, this is the place where you're going to do your last minute systems checks, trim configurations, etc. This is the best place to do it. Alright, now that I'm all set, request rearming. That'd be our ground crew there.
Request rearming.
Set these for anything you like. I like the 40 and 40. And what the hell? Alright, maybe dummy here can set the parking brake. That is what they call pilot error. I'm going to drop my fuel down to about 48%. max trap load is 34, so we're going to be below that. Set my board number assigned to me. And go off the clean livery so I'm not checking anybody. Alright, so
Request
now
refueling.
requesting refueling
Request rearming.
and requesting rearming, and we'll get on that. Set this to nav. And just wait for the signal that they're all done with what they're doing. And if you notice on the E-fees, the numbers are going down.
Refueling complete.
Alright, there's the gas. Armament should be popping up shortly.
Rearming complete.
Alright, rearming's complete. There's the AIM-9, so all the gas is on board. We'll be on our way. Duffer Tower, Bullet 105, EOR, taxi runway 31. Set takeoff trim. As you can see, that set that to 12. Almost went off the edge here. Duffer Tower, Bullet 105, taking the active runway 31, north departure, Angels 10. Nothing hurt. Bullet 105, taking the active. Taxi light comes on. Alright, nobody's called out, so we are on the way. And apparently there's no line up here. My world, do what I want. There's nobody else behind me. You always want to align on center line, because if you can an engine, you have more maneuverability room on the center of the runway than you do going down left or right of center line. Alright, so here we go. Up to 80. Watch the power. Punching punching it into burner. 80 knots. Nose wheel steering comes up. 140. Slight pitch back. Airborne. Gear comes up. .500, 230, flaps up. You can hear the radar altimeter jumping up. Alright, coming out of burner, going to full mill. See that here? No burners yet. There's burners. Eagle Dynamics did something weird with that. So now we're coming out of burner, back into full mill. We'll take it up to Angels 10. Alright, so if you take a look over here on the left, DDI, or correction, right DDI. Maybe I can figure out my left from my right. You see the take hands picking up the bearing to station now. It's 258 for 100 miles. So we'll get up to Angels 10, punch it, and make our way out to the boat. As you can see, I'm bleeding airspeed. That's just from the high deck angle. I'm going to go ahead and drop it to 5 degrees nose up. That'll give me the climb rate here between, about where I want it. 5 degrees nose up, etc. I want to let you guys know, completely hands off right now. This is the beauty of trim. Trim reduces control surface pressures. So if you're having issues, you're all over the place, trying to hold formation, etc., this is how you fix it. Alright, you use trim to relieve control surface pressures. I'm going to go ahead and turn inbound to the carrier. And we're on the way. Now that I'm at Angels plus 10, level off. We'll go into burner. See if we break Mach 1 up here. And yes, I'm watching my fuel state very carefully, don't worry. Mach 1. Alright, tripping out of Mach, back into full military power. We'll just hold it here until we get closer to the carrier. Quite the view out here. Alright, that's enough looking outside. Alright, so by now everybody's seen Lex's tutorial videos, Jabber's tutorial videos, etc. Most about what I'm about to do is going to be more or less along the lines of what those guys do. So, bear with me. It's not perfect. I just want to have the opportunity for you guys to see it. And if you notice a head bobbing there, yes, absolutely. I'm drinking a beer while flying a Hornet. Shoot me. Again, completely hands off. Came slightly off course. We're going to adjust course now. If you notice, energy management here, right? Angels 10, 468 knots, and I'm not moving a thing. Certain trains of thoughts will have you be liberal on the throttle. I disagree on a number of reasons. Right now, everybody's heard about the 4 forces of flight: lift, thrust, weight, and drag. I'm in straight and level flight at 10,000 feet. Wings are level, relatively noticeable on the horizon, and I have the perfect angle of attack to maintain the altitude. Lift, thrust, weight, and drag act in equilibrium in straight and level, unaccelerated flight. Okay? Now, if I accelerate, thrust is overcoming drag. Lift and weight are still the same. Now, if I change the angle of attack, that's going to change how things happen. If I pull up, I'm going to increase lift, and I'm going to also increase what they call parasitic drag, which is what happens when you add lift onto the aircraft. Don't want to do that. Right now I'm at a pretty efficient cruise, 60 miles to the station. Now I'm not going to get into the Marshall stack or anything like that. Again, it's just a quick down and dirty mission out to the carrier. Hopefully one trap, we'll call it on the 3-wire and call it good. Every aircraft has a specific speed and trim setting. It's up to you as a pilot to find it. You find that sweet spot, which is right where we're at, you're golden. Alright, I'm going to get a few things set up for the carrier now. Any skid comes off, hook bypass goes to carrier. We won't touch the flaps, won't touch the gear until we get closer. Hook won't come down until I get down to altitude. Other than that, the aircraft is all set up for a carrier landing. Alright, now if you notice, I'm slightly dropping. The issue with this is, obviously, I'm out of equilibrium. So how do I fix that? Slight nose up pitch. That's it. Keep adjusting the course, going to where we go. Alright, I'm at 8.5 Mach right now. Well, I won't get into it too much. 8.5 Mach is about normal cruising speed for certain business jets such as Gulfstreams. A little bit faster than what most airlines fly at. Most airlines fly in between the range of 7.6 to 8.2, 8.3 Mach. All depends. Everything has a limit. We're now 40 miles from station. And at about 15, I'm going to start dropping down to the deck and get set up and align on what we call the BRC. BRC, Base Recovery Course. Excuse me, beer. It's kicking the shit out of me. Base Recovery Course is the ship's bearing, or the ship's course. It is not the angle on the deck. It is not the angle deck. It is an imaginary line pointing from the bow or the frontmost part of the ship in the direction it's traveling. That is how you're going to line yourself on the pattern, but when you come into land, everything will be off of the angle deck. So, just want to clarify a few things there. Alright, now you're starting to notice some sparkles out on the horizon. You can see them below the velocity vector there. That is the carrier battle group. Alright, now I'm going to start scaling in the TACAN. 20, and then to 10, and then I'll help set up for the BRC. Like I said, at about 15 miles, I will drop. And here we go. Yee-hoo! If I'm not making you sick yet, you haven't seen anything yet. Oh, notice how the screen's starting to get red? That's called a red out. And that's the opposite of what happens when you pull too many G's. Not enough blood is in your head.
Altitude.
And it could make you go blind. Alright. Now I'm going to set my altimeter to radar. Hook comes down. And that'll let anybody know in the area that I'm intending to trap. Alright, now 10 miles from station. Probably enough for me to figure out what the BRC is. And it looks like it's on a course of 310. We'll get that set up. And I'm looking at my right DDI to tell me what it is I'm doing. Now if you notice, the course is off, so 310. Look at that. Now I have it set up on the ship. 800 feet, and I'm slowly decelerating, so we're going to change that a little bit. And now I got a few things in my information screen that are very critical. Distance to ship. I'm going to cage the HUD, which puts the HUD center. It's going to be very important when dealing with winds. I'm going to uncage this as we come in for final. Okay, 800 feet, 350 knots, right on the money for what we need for the brake. Drop down slightly. Now if you notice, there's a couple ships out here. And I'm going to point a few things out. This is a real-world pilot trick. It's called visual referencing. We're finding visual landmarks. Yep, so 310 looks accurate. As I get closer, the BRC is going to show me off course. This is what's called the cone of confusion. TACAN and VORs are based on what's called slant range. So as you get closer, it's going to start showing off course. But as you can see, I'm more or less aligned on the carrier deck. As I pass the carrier deck, start counting. 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4 potato, 5 potato, 6 potato, 7 potato, 8 potato, 9 potato, 10 potato, 11 potato, 12. Stennis, bullet 105, entering the brake. Pull at 3 G's. When I come at the 90, I'm going to start adjusting. And I'm at full idle right now. I am not using the speed brake. And that came from a real-world carrier pilot. Gear comes down below 250. Flaps going to full. And if you notice, I'm lining up right on this frigate right here. I'm going to start increasing power while simultaneously increasing trim. Now if you notice, I'm more or less on speed, but slightly high. So I need to adjust that. Ease off the throttle, dip the nose down. 800 feet, almost coming abeam. I need to be at 600 to make this right. About 200 feet a minute. Okay, Stennis, bullet 105, abeam, gear down, hook down. That is the abeam call. I've just passed the LSO platform. I'm going to ease into it. Nothing too much on the bank here. As you can see, I'm getting low and slow, so I'm going to slightly increase power. There we go. Now the bracket is back up. 700 and descending. You want to be at about 500 feet, 450 feet at the 90, so I am slightly high. And if you notice, the velocity vector is getting there. Now I'm getting fast, so I'm going to adjust. I'm going to shallow it out. Dip down just a little bit. Perfect. Recapture. Energy management here, guys. That's the name of the game. 500. I'm getting low and slow. Stennis, bullet 105. Hornet ball 3.5. That was the ball call. Alright, there's a radar altimeter. 400 feet. Aim for the crotch of the ship, and I'm doing a simultaneous scan here. Ball, indexer, velocity vector. I'm doing the lineup. Getting low and slow, so I'm going to add power. HUD becomes uncaged. That'll come into play when we get through the wake turbulence of the ship. Slightly fast. I'm going to drop that power just a little bit. Still slightly fast. Perfect. On the money. Hook scat. Bolter. Here we go. Full military power. As soon as I get to 400 feet, I'm going to start back into that turn, get the beam calls. Too high. Recage your HUD. I'm going to come out to the ship and then turn around. Now, have you noticed just how quick stuff can turn sideways on you? There you go. Came in too high, hook did not catch, so we're now readjusting. 600 feet, I'm a beam, and about 1.2 miles from the Stennis. Start that descent on the bracket, back into the turn. Bullet 105, a beam, gear down, hook down. Practice makes perfect. I am definitely not perfect. Alright, so I'm a little low and slow on the indexer. Keep that turn coming. Shallow it out if you need to. Way high. So I'm going to adjust. That is a stall warning. Stennis, Hornet ball 3.0. Three key things here. Bracket, velocity vector, line up. Adding power, adding power. Trapped. Full power. Feel the resistance. There's the rollback, waiting for the hook light. Hook comes up, wings come out, fold, and we're off. So there you go, guys. There's the hook trap. Nothing to it. Albeit that was slightly fucked up. And by the way, do not take my word as gospel. Find out what works for you as far as getting back aboard.